Forest Lawn Memorial Park, Glendale, California. In the distance here, this monstrous building you see is the Great Mausoleum. The greats of Hollywood, actors, directors, producers are buried there, including Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor and others. I was here a few months ago. I did the grave of Amy Simple McPherson, who was buried over on the other side in the lawn. But we're here to discuss the author of The Wizard of Oz. I take it there's got to be a lot of Wizard of Oz fans out there after, almost 90 years? This grave right here, L Frank Baum. He's the guy who started it all. We're going to go up to his grave in a couple of minutes. He was born May 15th, 1856 in Madison County, New York, in Chittenango. It's not far from where I used to live in Syracuse. He died at 62 years of age on May 6, 1919 in Hollywood. He was best known, he was the author of children's fantasy books, including The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which was not just a book, it was actually a series of books. There were 14 Oz books. Frank Baum also penned 41 other novels, 83 short stories, 200 poems, 42 theater acting scripts, because he was big into acting. Born in Chittenango, New York, he moved west after an unsuccessful stint as a theater producer and playwright. He spent time in Chicago, Illinois, where he worked as a newspaper reporter, children's literature. He published children's literature. He came out with the first Wonderful Wizard of Oz book in 1900, and then he continued his writing. He grew up in Mattydale, New York, again, pretty close to Syracuse. He spent 2 years at the Peekskill Military Academy, but he flunked out because he was a dreamy sort of a child. I understand what that was like. I was dreamy and didn't pay attention myself for many years. I can empathize with old Frank. But yeah, so he didn't cut it in the military academy, but he took up his favorite hobby as a career, writing fantasy. So he started early in life. He had a flair for being the spotlight of fun. He would sell a lot of fireworks and skyrockets and Roman candles, and his fireworks used to light up the sky. He was not drifted away. He was attracted to the theater, performed in a lot of plays under the stage name Louis Baum and Frank Brooks. He wrote the play for William Black's novel A Princess of Thule and actually composed songs for it. He married Maud Gage in 1882. Remember, this guy was born in 1856. So in 1882, he married Maud. I understand that was his lifelong partner. They moved to Aberdeen, Dakota territory, and they opened up Baum's Bazaar. His description of Kansas and the wonderful world of Oz is based a lot on his experiences in South Dakota, which at the time had a lot of drought and lack of water. But he began working on the musical version of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in 1901, pretty close to the time that he published the first book. It didn't take at first. So in 1902, he shortened the title to The Wizard of Oz, and it really took off on stage. Early audiences in 1900 to 1911 really loved the play. Now, the movie The Wizard of Oz, produced by MGM Studios, came out in 1939. It was several years after he died. He died in 1919. So, almost 20 years later, the movie version came out. Imagine how rich he would have been just with the movie. He suffered a stroke on May 5th, 1919, and he died the following day. So, let's go up, look at his grave. Here it is. He's buried with his wife and a lot of family members. Hello, Mr. Frank. Of course, I've never met this guy in person, but it's nice to be at his grave after so many years. And over here are a lot of his brothers, his children, his sisters, his immediate family. These are all Baums. He bought a lot of area for his family. Right? Anyway, this is the back of the grave. This is the great L Frank Baum. So, if you love The Wizard of Oz, and of course, Judy Garland had her breakout role in that movie, this is the guy that deserves all the credit. He turned a dreamy childhood into a profitable career. So, rest in peace, Mr. Frank and Miss Maud. Oh, his wife died in 1953, quite a bit after he did. Rest in peace, folks.